everybody. Happy Tuesday. Dalton is in here somewhere down there. Oh, here he comes. I said his name. He will come. Oh, or he'll hide. One or the other. I am Kat, the nurse flipper. Oh, there he is. And Dalton is here. We are also joined by Rod, my co-host, Picking and Punching. And below me, they have both been on before. We have Yvon, Thrifty Rich, and Jeremy from the Thrifting Twins. Unfortunately, Becky had something come up, and she wasn't able to make it tonight, but we're going to get her rescheduled for you guys really, really soon. So don't fret. She will be here. And I am going to make Yvon big, then Jeremy, let them tell you guys what they have going on, and then we will get to your questions. So here is Yvon.
Hi, friends. It's Yvon. Yvon 50 Rich is what I go by on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and TikTok sometimes. But I've been on this show before, and some of you know Kat and I used to do a sale together before she went over to Whatnot. I've been making videos for a long time. I do Thrift with Me videos, sometimes some eBay and reselling tips. I've done panel shows on and off throughout the years. Booth talk is pretty important because I sell on eBay, Whatnot, a couple places on District, and I have 2 booths locally. And I'm going to date myself. I have been doing this since 1984. Okay, so all right.
All right, here's Jeremy.
Hi, I am Jeremy. I'm one of the Thrifting Twins. I've been reselling about 5, I'm going to say 11.
Is he frozen for everybody?
Yeah, he always comes right back, though, you guys. He always comes right back.
Jeremy.
This happens. He always comes right back. He's in upstate New York.
All right, I'm going to pull him out.
Yeah, pull him out.
Oh, nope, I knew you'd come back as soon as I pulled you out. Okay, keep talking. You're back.
Okay, where was I? The YouTube.
We had you at hello.
I've been reselling on eBay for about 5 years. I recently, about a few months ago, started reselling full-time. I used to work as a nurse full-time. That became too stressful, so I'm reselling. I go on District, Whatnot, and I have a antique booth. That's about it.
Perfect. That's enough, right? Isn't that enough?
Enough for me.
Marsha, yes, guys. If you missed it, we did hit 100K over this week. Woohoo! Thank you so much. Yes, big accomplishment. Now I have to wait for them to invite me to order my plaque. It's not like you just get to go order it. Now I have to wait for them to do all of their things that they do.
They review for those that cheat, but not Nurse Flipper, not Kat.
Yeah, they review and make sure everything is real and authentic and blah, 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 blah. Thank you. I just, when I blow dried it, it ended like this, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to leave it. We'll do the side part thing tonight. All right.
For those that don't know,
a
big accomplishment for YouTubers is hitting 100,000. Because when you hit 1,000 subs, you become monetized. Once you have your time, there's no other really accomplishment until you hit 100,000. When you hit 100,000, you get a plaque, which is the play button. So it's literally a huge accomplishment for YouTubers. So Kat's kind of blowing it off there, but that's all in the chat here. Give her congratulations because it is a really big deal. How many years has it been? 4 years of hard work? 5 years?
Almost 5. Almost
5
December's
years.
5. Yeah, December's 5.
Let's think about this. She's posting videos for almost 5 years straight.
Like 1,300 videos.
Yeah. And to get to that point. So that's actually a really huge accomplishment, even though she's being modest about it. So congrats, Kat.
Yes.
And the next one isn't till 1 million, so that, might never.
We'll see you in 20 years. So
You're right. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's pick Marsha. I'm going to give her the whale. Oh, cha-ching. I'm going to give Marsha the whale. Here you go. Ding. Thank you, Marcia. And Marcia helps me so much. So I want to give her a big thank you too. She moderates for us here every week. She also moderates for me when I do my Whatnot shows. So, and she has a channel too, guys, and she's actually posting videos now. So go check out Marcia's channel for sure, guys.
Give her a follow. She does a lot for us. So it's
Yes.
it's hard. As Kat just told you, it took her 5 years almost to hit 100,000. So when you're a smaller channel, you can use all the help you can. So that's why we always like to support all the guests come on here, and especially the moderators. So go follow her.
LSU mom sent one too. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Dalton, did you know that we hit 100,000? No. He will probably be more excited about the play button than me once it comes. Thank you, Chris.
You should get a big gold chain around your neck like Flavor Flav and just walk around, just have
and wear it.
Play button, just wear it around.
Flavor Flav, yeah. That's what I'm gonna
Like
do.
I don't know where I'm gonna put it in here. I might I don't know. Maybe I'll set it on the counter. I know, right?
All the time. It's huge.
All right. So Miss Susan sent the first question. She said she's seeing a lot of promotions for Amazon FBA with books. Is it a real side hustle? And if it is it totally oversaturated?
I'll say something real quick, but I'll have to pass because the only thing I do on Amazon are t-shirts. But I remember like 5 or 6 years ago, it was all the rage for some kind of program, and mostly young men would have this little gadget, and it was connected to a big data.
Oh, the scanner.
Yeah, it was like everything. But I don't know what's going on now, so I'm going to pass that along.
Yeah, I never sold on Amazon before, but I have seen people with a scanner. It's kind of funny. I was like, I want one. But I feel like it would be oversaturated with books. Books and I know DVDs was oversaturated. Yeah.
So with Amazon, the reason why you see a lot of people doing books, the hustle is real. So it's not oversaturated. The hustle is real. Excuse me. The easiest barrier of entry into Amazon is actually through books. So that's the reason why you see a lot of people do books. When you start doing books, that allows you to, once you get enough feedback underneath your belt, you can actually start to apply for other categories that get ungated without actually having receipts for certain categories, not all of them. So you'll see a lot of stuff that do that. The reason what they're referring to is when you go to like the thrift stores, people will wear a little earpiece in, they'll scan the books, and you can actually, there's programs that you can get, and you can set your certain profit margins on this. What is called, like, I forget the program. It's called Scot. I think
Scout IQ is one. There's another one too. Yeah, there's another one.
Yeah, when you scan your books, it'll tell you your profit margin. And then that's how people hear the little ding ding, and then they'll throw the book in their cart. So they usually only scan books that have UPC
and they
codes.
scan fast.
Yeah, they scan fast, dude. They're going through. They'll literally go to the thrift store. They'll stand there an hour and they'll scan hundreds of books. So you have to be committed to it. There's a lot that goes into it. That's why a lot of times booksellers are just booksellers. But it's real. So it's definitely, you're able to do that. What a lot of people, I will tell you, what a lot of people skip are the books that do not have UPC codes on them because they don't want to waste their time looking them up. So there's a lot of profit made in those older books that don't have UPC codes.
Guys, I just dropped my good friend Katie Reed's channel in the chat.
Yep.
She is a major bookseller, and that's pretty much her, like the majority of what she does. She does do a few other things. Yes, it is a real side hustle. I did books when I first started reselling again. For me, it was hard to do books plus do other stuff. So that's why I stopped doing books. Watch, a couple of weeks ago, we had Mike Golden State Picker on. He is also a big bookseller. He buys books by the Gaylord, giant pallets full. So it is, and it's saturated, but that's why you check. So when you scan, you can set parameters for books that you want to be ranked, whatever. I used to go up to like 200,000 because there are a lot of books on Amazon. Some people only do 100,000, or you could be more strict and set it at like 50,000. So you set the parameters for when that scanner is telling you to pick it up. Yeah, 200,000 a year selling on Amazon's, and he buys Gaylords every day. The book hustle is real. And I don't I've got to find out if I can say something. I know something about something, but I don't know if I'm supposed to know something about something. Somebody, and if I'm allowed to talk about it before I do. Real
Yeah,
We
quick.
also had
good.
Mel too. We had Mel from back from
Oh
Burnout.
yeah,
She's in
Mel
Australia. She's
Burnout.
one of the biggest booksellers in Australia, so that she's always a fun watch.
And Mel only does it on eBay, so it's not just a Amazon hustle. The nice thing about Amazon is it's FBA. So you find the books that are good, you send them in. You don't have to store them. You don't have to ship them. Brad hated me when I sold books. Do you know how heavy books are? You better get some muscles or have some muscles. Gaylords are like the watermelon boxes. They're a 4x4 box on a pallet. Here in Florida, we see Gaylords all the time with watermelons in them.
When you go to Walmart and you see those big containers of DVDs for like $3, $5, like right in the center of the aisle, that's a Gaylord.
Yeah. All right. So I'm asking if I can talk about this thing, and then I will let you guys know if I can. Miss Diane said she has an old silver tea service estimated worth $10,000. An online antique dealer offered her $6,000, but she has to send it first and then they pay. Is that usual or is that a scam? I'm going to say in the chat too, let us know, because some of us might not have sold to antique dealers, especially online. So if you've done something similar to this, please let us know in the chat before Yvon starts answering. Okay.
I've never done anything like that. Yeah, so I don't know, but my knee-jerk reaction is, hey, wait a minute, what? So, but I've never done anything.
Yeah, but
like
think about it. Like, who would send you $10,000 without something in hand? Like, it works both ways, you know, like.
I just don't have an opinion, a clue as from experience. So pass it along.
Anybody else?
Jeremy? No.
Oh, sorry.
He's asleep. Okay.
I was reading the chat. I don't know. If it was me, I wouldn't do it. But that's up to you, though. Like, that's $10,000, $6,000. I don't know if I would trust it.
So I will say there are some legitimate people out there that will receive the items first before they will pay you, because when you're dealing with that, you want to make sure that it's legit. You want to make sure there's no damage to it, but you have to be able to trust that seller. I'll give you guys an example. So because of my YouTube channel, I do have people that reach out to me that want me to buy big lots of things or their collections. And recently I had someone who reached out to me, wanted me to buy an action figure collection. It was about a $4,000 action figure collection. I was going to offer him about $2,000 for the collection, but he didn't have PayPal. I would have sent him money through PayPal because I'm protected through PayPal. When I received the items, if I had any issues, I could file a claim through PayPal. So he didn't have a PayPal account. And so with that being said, I told him the only way I'll do it is if you would send me the stuff first so I can inspect it. And I would send him cash, once it's delivered, and he can send tracking, and I would send him tracking number with that information. There's a video game company called DK Oldies. A lot of people sell video games to them. Phoenix Resale is he's another reseller in our community that takes in video games, but you have to send him the video games first. Once he inspects them, he will pay out the people that do that. So there are people in the reselling community that are trustworthy that do that. I would say it really comes down to the company that you're going through. Make sure it's a legit company. Make sure that you have feedback from them before you make anything like that. I mean, if something's worth $10,000, you might even spend $300 on a flight to go there. You know what I mean? At that point in time, and meet the person in person.
It'd be worth it.
It would be worth it for you and make a vacation out of it. So.
Thank you, Katie. Katie came. So I am allowed to talk about it. Katie's going to drop a link for you guys. They're actually having a bookseller convention in Vegas. Nice. Steve Rakin is putting it on. There are going to be tons of booksellers there of all different genres, where if you're interested in learning about it, that convention would be great. There, Katie put her link for me, Books and Beyond Conference 2024 in Las Vegas. And Katie and I talk quite a bit, so that's how I'm not going to the bookseller convention. Katie might go. So Katie and I were talking about that. And it's not just Amazon. She's saying it's eBay, whatnot. So it's like only on books though, guys. So if you're interested in books, definitely check that out. As far as the tea service, I would ask, why would you not sell it yourself? You know, why are you selling it to a dealer? If you're in here, I'm going to assume you're a seller of some level. And I would like silver sells, you know. I don't think you would have a problem selling it, and you might get closer to that 10,000 instead of 6. Fees might be about 20%, so you might run into that.
Kat,
But I would definitely make sure you knew someone that used this person before you go shipping off a $6,000 tea set.
I was going to say too is, I mean, at buying at 60 cents on the dollar, I'm sure you can almost find a local antique dealer or a local someone locally in your area that would offer you 60 cents on the dollar if you're okay with taking $6,000 for a $10,000 item, especially for silver or gold. Absolutely. So I mean, before I would ship it off, I'd probably look for someone locally. I'm sure there's someone within an hour or two of where you live that would give you around the similar amount of money, or maybe give you, $5,000 and you don't have to worry about the hassle of it.
I want to put this up here. She said the dollar amount scares her. I will tell you, I have less problems with a $3,000 sale than a $30 sale. Typically, your higher dollar buyers do not give you as much problems. I'm just going to say that.
Because they are serious buyers and they're there for business. When you have that type of money to spend on items, you're a professional majority of the time.
Yeah. I have had no issues with Dalton found a label roll. All right. Teacher Treasure Chest says, is there any easy way to upload 1,600 listings to list perfectly other than 25 at a time? I'm going to say no. And you're lucky you can do 25 because we can only do 10 at a time with our internet. Marsha's in the chat, and Marsha actually just moved. Marsha, will you let them know how long it took you and how many listings you have? If it were me, I would probably do 100 a day, like 4 sets of 25. That's just over 2 weeks to get them in. And then once you're using Express Lister and creating the listings and list perfectly, you don't have to do that copying anymore. But the initial to any like importing, you're going to have to. Okay, so she just moved 1,340 and it took her 3 days, guys. So yeah, you can't do a ton at a time. She did 10 to 15. I'm not brave enough to do more than 10. If 25 has been working for you, I would do those 25 batches. But once you do the initial, if you're listing NLP, which is all that we're doing now, then it is a lot easier. I wanted to put this up here. Marsha, I don't know, or Rod, if you could get them the link to your video. Teacher Treasure Chest said, thank you for sharing the YouTube video on the AI photo on eBay, because somebody else said that they didn't see it on the computer. So if you could drop.
Yeah.
It's on mobile.
Well, I know. I mean, I list from my mobile phone, so there's an option on the mobile phone to do that. I would have to look to see if it is for the computer. But for those that don't know, eBay actually added at the beginning of this month an AI feature. Now, it's not as good as Photo Room, but it is still pretty good. You can actually swap out your background to make an AI background. Now, I will tell you guys one piece of advice. If you guys do use it, only do your first photo. Do not do all your photos, because buyers, you just want that first attractive photo only. The rest can be your regular photos to save time in the process.
So they're saying it is only on mobile.
I would have to do more research and look, but I think so.
No, they're saying that it is only on mobile.
Okay.
They looked, yeah. Catherine sent $10. I need to give one for the other two of you too. I'm going to do group ones. I don't want to have our whole show be dolphins and whales, which that would be fun, but not overly productive. So here you go. Super We do Kevin. Don't worry. We do Kevin.
I want to see Kevin buns, yeah.
I don't know, and I say it every time, but Yvon is who made that Kevin super chat for us. I don't know if you want to thank her or yell at her. It might be half and half.
He took it in stride too, y'all. He's okay with it.
She is who made it. All right. Miss Linda said she sees listings with the original price crossed off and a new lower price next to it. How can I do this? I have the lowest seller store. So she does have a store, And she wants to know if that is only for higher level stores.
You know, let me tell you guys something about my answers tonight. I kind of dropped the ball for the last year on eBay as I messed around over on Whatnot and District and other things. I got another booth. And so I actually am just now building my eBay back up. That was part of my 2024 plan. So I'm up to 75 listings and it's going awesome, by the way. But I have to play catch up with some of these features. So sorry about tonight. Usually I can answer eBay questions quite well, but I don't want to say anything wrong. Let me just pass that along.
Yeah, so when you see the price crossed off, that means you either lower the price or you're running a sale. I feel like anybody could do that, right?
No, you have to have a store.
You have to have a store.
Okay.
Yeah, once you have an eBay store and you run a sale, it would automatically take the original price, slash it through, and then show the discount. And it might show underneath it, it'll show like 10%, 20%, 30% off, whatever it is. If you go to Kat's store, she runs consistent discounts in there, so you guys can just use those as.
No, I don't.
Oh, you changed it. That's right. I forgot about that.
You don't do the 30%?
I stopped as of yesterday, guys, and it looks so weird. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, and I'll probably do a video on it too, letting you guys know. So I stopped my markup. So nothing is marked up in my store. There is no sale on my store currently. And today we have, hold on, I'll tell you how much we've done because I just started doing it yesterday. We've done $691 in sales today. So obviously it did not hurt our sales. And I also started passing the shipping discount on to the buyer. I just wanted to see. And we're actually, like, if you look, we're tracking, like, my employees writing, like, so we charged $91.51. We paid $73.16. I'm tracking it. I want to make sure I'm not losing at least a lot of money. I'm okay losing a tiny bit of money, but I want to make sure I'm not losing a lot of money. So we are writing it down every day, what the buyers were charged and what we're paying. I changed it all. The hard thing is I'm not going to know, like, is it because I turned my sale off? Is it because I passed on the shipping discount? We're also getting more listings up with Express Lister. So we have a lot of new stuff going on, and change is scary, right? Like, I've had a sale on for over 3 years. It has never been off more than 6 hours. But the reason I did it, we kept talking about it on here. I talked about it with George years ago. And I was talking about how frustrated I got when I went into an antique mall. I saw 50% off. I get all excited just to realize they had marked everything up double to put it on 50% off. So since I don't like that, I'm stopping doing that. The hard thing is, and Rod and I had discussed, was doing the sale like once it's been listed. But since we sell similar, I can't do it by date. So I would have to look through all 7,000 items. So I'm probably not going to run any sales. I'm just going to send those bigger discounts out on offers. I think we might change it as we go, but yeah, I think people know it too. Oh, look, so Camille says she took her sales off and her sales almost doubled. But she's able to send and accept offers easier because it's not like a double, like, oh, here I have a discount. Oh, here I have another discount. So that I'm really interested to see, because again, it does bug me, so I'm like, if it bugs me, why the crap am I doing? So, why am I doing what I hate seeing?
Are you going to do like a case study for how long with this? I mean, how are you tracking? Because I'd be curious on how many items you sell over the next 30 days with this, how many, the average sales price per item, and kind of how that changes your store. Do you have any predictions?
Yeah, I know I'm going to leave it on for at least a month. I had made that decision because if the sales went down, it would be really easy to. And actually, yesterday, the first day, sales were down, but today they are back up. They are above where we want it. And I have changed. Like I always say, I want the $500 a day. I actually need $700 in sales a day because my goal is 20,000. So if I want to hit 20,000 a month, I need to sell 700 a day. So today we're at 691. Yesterday was 330, which isn't horrible, but Sunday was 846. Saturday was 741. Friday was 418 and Thursday was 851. So we are hitting over that $700 mark a lot now. And that is really my goal, not that $500. So I had to change it because I kept saying 500, but I would say I want 20,000 and the math doesn't equate, right? 500 a day is about a $15,000 month. And I really would like to hit 20,000. All right, let's see. Kelly says on eBay, you've been talking about adding the AI background. Okay, so we just talked about that. So they're saying that it is only available on mobile, but I will tell you, Photo Room AI is available on the desktop because I use it there.
Yeah.
And Photo Room has bulk AI backgrounds on the computer. Did you know that, Rod?
I didn't know that, but and Photorum also allows you to bulk edit your back up to like 50 items at a time, which is nice compared to how eBay does it. So I like Photorum a lot better than the AI on eBay, but the problem is, you're going to pay for the Photorum, with compared to eBay. eBay is going to be free, but Photorum does a lot better job. And also too, you can pick and choose your background. You have a lot more options. So for example, if I had a pair of Nike basketball shoes, I could put those on a basketball court, where if I use like the AI background on eBay, it just might be like in the middle of a street or somewhere like that. So
yeah, and you can type what you want on Photo Room.
Yeah,
like I'll put on a table in a mid-century modern living room.
Yep.
Like you can get pretty specific on what you want it to do, which is nice.
Yeah.
Marjorie's saying eBay does let you customize.
To the point, it's not the same though, as it's
not the same level.
Yeah, it's not the same level. Like the options are very limited compared to what Photo Room has. So yes, you can do it a little bit, but nowhere near like Photo Room.
Don is asking what part of Florida. I am in Chiefland, in the middle of nowhere, about an hour from Gainesville and Ocala, and 2 hours from any major city. Tallahassee, Jax, Orlando, Tampa, they are all 2 hours from me. So like if you draw a line from all of them, you'll find me. In the middle of absolutely nowhere is where I am. And that's okay. I don't mind that. All right. Miss Betty says, I asked eBay to remove a negative feedback a week ago. How long does it take them to respond based on your past experience?
I'm not trying to sound cocky, but I've never had to do that. So better pass it along.
I had it removed before. You could try chatting with eBay.
No, they quit letting you chat now.
They did. Well, I had
Suckers.
I had the negative feedback removed within like a few minutes from chatting, but
How long ago was that though?
that was like a year ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, through email it might take longer.
So I have recently, this is a big fiasco I went through on my flipping and punching channel, but about 3 months ago, I ended up I got negative feedback over something ridiculous. And I called eBay. I went through on Facebook, eBay for Business. They no longer will remove it. They changed how they remove feedback on there. So you would actually have to go into eBay and request for them to do that. They usually respond within 48 to 72 hours if it is. So if you go to your where your disputes are, you'll be able to see if they approved your feedback removal or not. So if it's been a week, if you've gone through the proper steps in eBay, I'm assuming they didn't remove it, that you probably get stuck with it.
Yeah, and I know how picky they are. So I actually, with my last 3 negative feedback, have not reached out to them because the 2 before that, I have 5. The 2 before that, they would not remove. So now I don't waste my time. I'm like, whatever, I think I have like 99.6 or 99.7, but we sell like, hundreds and hundreds of items a month. So the percent Yeah, a lot of people don't have it. I think if you're above 98%, it's not going to really hurt you. Just respond professionally to the negative feedback. It's really funny. And I am not going to leave feedback to be nice. So I just bought something. It took them 2 weeks to ship it to me. And I'm like, hey, and I know it didn't say they were on vacation. I'm like, hey, I'm a fellow seller, just wondering, is your handling over 5 days? Like, just curious. And they're like, oh, I was on vacation. So I went and looked at their feedback, and they have quite a few negative, I will say. And they fire back very unprofessionally at their buyers. Like, if I would have read that honestly, but they have like their percent is okay, so I didn't investigate. If I would have read that and saw their attitude towards their buyers, I probably would not have bought from them. It's like they are like pretty nasty. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. All right. Lucas says shipping postage increased yesterday, guys. It increased yesterday. I did try and kind of look at it because some of our stuff was purchased Friday uncalculated before the rates went up. So we did end up having to pay more than the buyer paid. There is not a big difference on Ground Advantage, but priority is it was pretty noticeable. Just FYI.
Shipping rates went up yesterday. I thought they announced it's supposed to be July 14th.
I thought it was as of yesterday, and a lot of ours were higher than what the buyer paid for the same weight.
On eBay, it looks like all my shipping went up today when I was looking at it, but the Postal Service announced on July 14th they're actually increasing first-class mail stamps. They're going to go from 68 cents to 73 cents. I wonder if
eBay proactively did it.
I think they must have, because the media mail and all that jump, because I literally just covered that in my upcoming video, and they're raising prices, but it wasn't supposed to be until July 14th. So I think you're right. I think eBay retroactively did it.
My kid's in here. Everybody say hi to my kid that doesn't capitalize her own name. Hi, Brooke. So Lucas is asking, there's the other kid. Because the shipping rates are increasing, are you increasing your rates, and how much? That's the question.
So far, to me, it didn't warrant it. Now, also on eBay, I don't do calculated shipping. I put in what I want for shipping. I kind of know what it is. And there's a little bit of wiggle room, like 50 cents or something, usually to help toward handling like the boxes and stuff. So I've got always have a little wiggle room. It didn't really look like I needed to do anything at this time.
Yeah, I didn't.
Now, I'm sorry, Jeremy, but real quick, LaDonna says another one's coming out tomorrow, though. I don't know, but sorry, Jeremy.
Oh, here we go. Here it is. July 1st, Ground Advantage is going up. So maybe the rest of it's going up July 14th.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's a thing. Now that Ground Advantage, because that's what I hardly use priority at all anymore. Ground Advantage. Now that's going to be a thing. Yeah. It's going up that much.
Yeah, they're saying it's up on Pirate Ship too.
Gotcha.
Man.
Sorry, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know I don't use priority mail either anymore, really. Yeah, so my listings are all calculated shipping. Shouldn't that, if it increases, that should automatically add it, right?
Yeah, the only thing was like if they bought it Friday and then you bought the postage Monday. So it was just this weekend that like there's that little difference.
Right.
So this is the reason why I don't offer free shipping. Is this reason, because the Postal Service raises their rates traditionally twice a year, and they also do a fourth quarter Christmas rate, which is a temporary rate increase. So if you really think about it, they can raise their rates up to 3 times a year, and that's why I stopped doing free shipping many years ago, just for that reason. So because I didn't want to go back and readjust all my listings, go through there. So that's why I would either use a flat rate or a calculated shipping model, just for that reason.
Yeah, and we do calculated, so it's going to automatically raise, like Jeremy was saying. There was just that 2-day discrepancy. What was bought on Friday and Saturday, They paid less than what they bought on Monday. But we'll keep ours that. I am passing that discount on though now.
Wait, let's address that right there. So she said that LSU mom said that I'm going to pass on buying heavy items to resell.
I think that's a mistake.
Correct. Because UPS,
if they want it and the value's there, they'll pay.
Correct. And most of the time, if you're going to buy heavy items, you're not shipping through the postal service. You're going to use FedEx or UPS usually to ship those, and those rates haven't changed. And you can usually get a bigger. It's actually pretty cheap sometimes to ship heavy items because as long as it fits in the certain size wise of the box, you'll be fine. So I would not pass up items because you're just leaving money on the table. Not to mention, a lot of people do pass up items, so you probably would have a lot better chance to sell those heavier or bigger items.
Yeah, I agree for sure. As long like you're not losing, they're having to pay. But as long like I wouldn't go buy a heavy $20 item, you know. But if it's $100 or something, I would still buy it.
Yeah.
Trash Cat Rescue wants to know, how do we feel about vintage markets?
Do you mean like the vendor malls, or you just mean the trending market in the secondary, whatever? If you just mean,
I would think like parking lot, flea market, vintage market type thing. That's what I would think.
Like pop-up sales, is you referring to, I think?
Yeah,
maybe?
I think so. Yeah.
because I am in one. I am in a vendor mall. It's antique, vintage, and collectible, so it covers all. It's user friendly for people who don't even know what a vintage item is. I personally love it. I'm pretty active in the general reselling, social media, whatever communities, and very active in the vintage communities, whatever, on Instagram and YouTube. And it's great. Vintage stuff is still trending pretty hard. It shifts a little bit. And I will say that, you know, influencers, not just on YouTube, but I know I've personally influenced a few trends. I know people like Crazy Lamp Lady has, Kate Follow That Bug, lots of people, but not just as YouTubers, just like the home decor and whatever type influencers. And so you keep an eye on that. But I'm still doing great with vintage, and it's a lot of fun. And I lean toward pottery, art glass, and the kitsch stuff.
Yeah, I think the vintage market is popping right now. Especially at antique malls, there's always people looking for vintage items. I mean, look at my vintage. Well, that's not vintage, but yeah. Whether it be at the antique mall, even on eBay, flea markets. So I always keep a lookout for vintage items.
So I think the vintage pop-up sales are great because they're usually not, majority of the time they're either at like a local like meetup, or they're at like a brewery, or maybe someplace where in the middle of a park, you know, they do a lot of these pop-ups where you normally don't see vintage items, and you get a lot of foot traffic through these areas, and you get a lot of impulse buys because when these vintage markets pop up, these are items you haven't seen for a while, or maybe something catches your eye. And vintage is hot right now. Vintage clothing, a lot of vintage toys, a lot of vintage items. Decor is super hot. So I think it's great. T-shirts, yeah, t-shirts are huge. Those vintage pop-up clothing markets, they sell thousands of dollars every time they pop up. So
Rod, you mentioned ThriftCon.
Yeah, ThriftCon, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Huge if you don't know about ThriftCon.
So these pop-up markets that do come, I think they're great. I think it only helps us as resellers because it gives us when they put on these little groups in your local area, it's a great way for you to network with other resellers that you may not know or even knew about. It's a great way to find product, and a great way to, because a lot of times they'll have high-end items there, but they also do a lot of blowout where they're trying to move inventory. So I know last time I went to a vintage pop-up for like vintage clothing, they had vintage clothing for like $10 or less. You know, they were selling shirts for like $5-10 pile, but then they also had $100 to $200 shirts. You know, so it just depends what you're looking for. But overall, I think they're great for what we do.
Yeah, and if you want to watch somebody who does the pop-up markets a lot, guys, check out Jolie Flips. Sam and Adam, they're good friends of mine in person. They're here in Florida. They're in South Florida. I think they're not doing them now because it's so hot. It's 100 degrees in Florida. But when it's cooler, they do them quite often. And like Rod said, she, like, that's a major part of her business. And she networks and meets other sellers. And she moves her bigger stuff there. And she loves it. If I had something like that here, I would attend it. But for me, I would have to drive at least 2 hours to attend something. So I don't, but I wish I did. Lisa just gifted a membership, guys. So if you don't know, you can gift a membership. It will not let you pick who you give it to. So somebody in the chat just got a free membership courtesy of Lisa. So Lisa, thank you so much. And that gifts you a month. Oh, did Sue get it? Sue, did you get it? Sue got it. So now we know who got it. So thank you. I'm going to give both of you guys. And we do have a lot of stuff. I just shared the schedule. We have listing reviews coming up. We have live sourcing. We just did live shipping yesterday. And so it'll be again in 2 weeks. But there's a lot of stuff coming up because it's the beginning of the month. So here's the turtle that Gino made at my request. Here you go.
Oh, nice, Gino.
I
Nice.
love the turtle. Lisa, send me Lisa, what are you doing? Thank you. Lisa sent a $20 super sticker as well. So thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Let's give you Yvonne's mermaids. Here you go. And Lisa, you can throw me an Instagram message too. I know you sent one to Marsha, but if you would like, you can send one to me too. All right. Gypsy Rose wants to know, how do you track your inventory?
How do I track my inventory? Okay. And then also remember, you guys, I am part-time. I'm a content creator, wifey life, dog life, so many things, poker player. My reselling is like part-time. It seems like a lot, though. I know you guys see me everywhere. It seems like a lot, but really it's part-time, meaning that I try to never, like on eBay, I never go over 500 listings. I'm a one-person show, okay, and I'm going to stay that way. So I don't really, like when I buy it, I've got receipts. When it's time to do my year-end inventory for taxes, I just go into my inventory room. I have a separate room, and I count everything. It's the same way we did it old school before the internet. In the 80s, we just count everything, and there it is. Like, you kind of know what you pay for things.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I do. I keep all the receipts. I try to put how much I spent in the listing description, but I got to figure out something different. And then also all my inventory I keep in bins with numbers, and I put that number in the custom SKU. So that keeps it more organized, and that's how I keep track of my inventory.
So I'm assuming you're referring to like tax purposes. For me, I use cash in, cash out. So I buy so many lots, and when you buy so much stuff, it's hard to just keep track of what you have. So there's one method. Now, granted, we're not accountants on this. Just to let you know, when we do say this stuff, you have to figure out what works best for your business. I do have an accountant that I do use every year that does help me with my business. So I'll put that disclaimer out there. But one of the methods is the cash in, cash out, meaning that the money you put in is the money you put out, and that's what you have for your inventory at that time. It's very simple, very easy to use, especially in this industry, because when you're buying, if you go out sourcing, you may pick up 50 pieces. Instead of putting down, put it as one big lot, it's 50 items for $100. It's $2 an item, plain and simple there. Compared to keeping track of every single item that you do, just cash in, cash out.
Yeah, I do cash in, cash out too, so we don't have to do a year-end inventory count or anything. It's money in, money out. For tracking it as far as where it is, we put everything in the custom SKU. Now that I'm using List Perfectly Express Lister, they have a place where you can put what your cost was. So I am doing that because it will give me reports. So I like that. So since I am doing it there, I'm putting it. And then we put the month and year things were listed too, so that even if I end and sell similar, I know that original listing date. So when I'm sending out offers to buyers, I know how long it's been listed. So ours might say like bin A3 624, which means it was listed in June of 2024. Because I sent out different offers depending on how it's been listed. But as long as you, like, as far as finding the stuff, as long as you know where it's at, that's all that matters. Like, our Kachinas say desk shelf because I have my Kachinas displayed. I like to see them. So as long as you can find the stuff, that's what really, really matters.
Yeah, I think you made a good point there where it's also, too, if you have a good system in place, like, for example, if you're starting, like, if you're going through A1 through 10, and then your next shelf's going to be B1 through 10, you're almost going to know mentally that once you fill up A through 10, I'm moving on B through 10, then the C through 10, D through 10. Well, if I haven't listed anything in A through 10, when I go to sell it, you know that I've been up there for a while. So that's also just a good way for you to know kind of that. Also, too, and Kat, how many times have you changed where you take your pictures over the years? Because for me, like, over the years, I would, like, I used, before we had AI backgrounds, before we even, like, change it out, but I would have different backgrounds sometimes in my photos. So I almost had to mentally know how long an item was been in my store based on the background of my photo.
I can tell by colors. So when I first started using Bazaar, I would use colored backgrounds. I would have like pink or yellow or blue, a complementing color. So those I know are really old. But we, like, back there has been for 3 years now since we got a dedicated space. But before that in the house, there was like all different kinds.
Yeah.
But I do know by certain things like that. Patty wants to know on LP Pro Plus, where do you add it in your chart for flat rate shipping? There is nowhere to add it in. You can add in the dimensions and the weight. But if you have eBay shipping policies, it would pick it up after LP input the weight. I'm not a shipping policy fan. I use calculated. But if you have, like, on eBay, you can set up for 0 to 8 ounces, it's $5. For 8 ounces to 16, it's $7, whatever. I'm just guessing. And if you have that set up, it would automatically pick it up from your policies when LP puts the weight in. Okay. Flippin' Ain't Easy says, I am starting Whatnot soon. Any tips on not being nervous when speaking on the camera live?
I don't know if your name sounds very familiar. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel or not. Wait a minute. Who is that? Is that me? I don't think so. But just act like just be natural. Seriously, anytime, YouTube, whatever, Whatnot, just be natural. You're just talking to your friends. It's okay. Seriously, it's okay. Just, like, be as authentic as possible. And just trust that anything that comes out of your mouth is proper. If you just relax and don't try to front or anything like that, or be something that you're not, you're going to be fine, okay? And it's a lot of fun, okay? So go for it. It's a lot of fun. So what if your first one's a little messy? It's okay. People will be forgiving, and if they're not, they don't matter, okay? You can look at some like, let's take YouTube, for instance. Any of us, you can go look at, unless we've deleted it, and I haven't, you can go look at some of our first videos, and you'll be like, whoa, they should probably delete that, okay? But I leave mine up on purpose so you can see my progression. So just have fun. Don't worry about it. Just be yourself, seriously.
Yeah. See, my first time, I was extremely nervous. Oh, my gosh. So you could try your first time turning the camera around so it's not facing you. That'll make you less nervous. So you just see your hands. You'll start to notice people's names, familiar names. So that'll help you calm down a little bit. And then once you're like halfway into it, you start to have fun and relax. Just go with the flow. That's what I did.
So for those who don't know, I did professional wrestling for many, many years, and I had to perform in front of a live audience. And one of the best pieces of advice I got was, if you mess up, majority of the time your audience doesn't know if you messed something up. You know what I mean? So just make it natural. Like, if you drop something messed up, just act like it's part of the show. Who cares? People aren't going to care. Also, when you do run it, tell your audience that this is your first show to bear with you, because drink a lot of whiskey. That's a good one too. But
you'll be entertaining.
You will be entertaining. Let your audience know it's your first show, because I will tell you, they will be a lot more forgiving with you. And not to mention, I hate to say this, but you probably have 5 or 10 people in your first show. You're probably not gonna have a big audience. So, you know, and you don't have to be on camera. You have the camera front facing. You can be behind the camera and just have your hands there and put items on stage, or put your items on the table and just show them and just talk in the background. I do a lot of my whatnots now like that because I want a quick move on one-man operation. Kat does a lot of her jewelry shows. She's not on camera.
I do all. You don't see me on Whatnot.
Yeah, so
and that's because I typically am like hair up, no makeup. I only wear makeup when I'm on camera for this podcast and my regular videos. If you see my thrifting videos, you'll see what I look like all the time. One
thing I would say, just add there real fast, is a lot of times it's not being on camera that people get nervous, is because they don't know how to work the functionality of Whatnot. So that makes it even worse for them. So in Whatnot, you can set up a private show. I would highly recommend set up a private show. Maybe have your significant other be on the other side, or a friend or family member, and you can actually do a one-on-one show where you practice moving items to pinning items up there to run the auction. They don't have to buy anything, but at least you get an understanding of how the app works, and that way you'll be a lot less nervous when you do it. So that's huge. Interact with your audience, because even if you're messing stuff up, read the chat, because people may be asking questions or are helping you out. One of the biggest pet peeves I know me and Kat have is when I go into a show and their audience and I'm being ignored. You know, I'm your buying customer. I am there to be part of your show. I am there to be entertained. I am there to buy things. Don't ignore me. So please pay attention to the chat. A lot of new sellers do that because they're so nervous at other things. But also, to remember, Whatnot is not a selling platform. It's a social media platform. So what you see on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you know, you go on these social media platforms to be entertained, you know, interact, have fun. If you ever been to any of when me and my wife do free shows, my dogs are on camera. It's just a complete and utter this crap shoot, you know, that we're on there, and we're just giving away stuff for free, but we have fun with it. We're telling stories, joking around. Like, go into shows and watch shows, see what you like and you don't like, and keep notes. That's the biggest thing I tell you, but it's a lot of fun. Have fun with it, man. That's the only thing I tell you.
Yeah, and it really just the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. Like any of us with YouTube channels going into Whatnot, it's pretty easy because we're used to already talking to the camera and talking to people. So it's hard to give advice, like especially like we've been doing this for years. So it's obviously for us, it is almost like second nature at this point. And having your mod and your family there and your cousin will be there, that'll make it easier to have to chat to them. And I agree with Rod, though. Watch your chat or have someone watch your chat, because there's nothing more frustrating as a buyer than like they're not selling anything and I'm asking to see something and they aren't paying attention to me. Yeah, I'm going to leave and I'm not going to buy it because I'm not going to keep waiting and waiting and waiting.
Let us know too when your first show is.
Mine are all there as well, guys. Yeah. Even the first one that was this way instead of this way. I left everything there. You can go back to 2019 when I started. Those are the fun ones. So in 2021, I had already been doing it for 2 years. So if you go all the way back, I do not take them off of here. Tommy, who was on with us last week, if you missed that show, definitely check it out. Buffalo Pickers sent me a $9.99 super chat for the 100K. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Here you go.
– Flipping ain't easy. Put in the chat when your first show is. Love here to support you, and we'll tell one here if they're available. Go check them out, because we all know how hard it is to do our first show and build an audience. So we're always here to help when we can.
I want to throw this up real quick. You guys, if anybody knows an accountant in Southern Cali, I'm going to caution you against saying not to be so expensive, because you get what you pay for with everything. My accountant, I pay $300 a month. Now, I'm not saying that you will. My accounting is like a nightmare. My poor accountant.
Payroll though too. So
well, that's not included in the 300 either. I pay separate for that.
Yeah, okay.
Then we'd be at like 400. I pay about 100 for payroll a month. But you don't want them to be too cheap, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you don't have to use somebody monthly. You can you could use a bookkeeper monthly, and then you use the accountant at the end of the year. My accountant, a bookkeeper, does most of my stuff for that $300, and I'm okay with that. But they sign into all of my accounts. I don't do anything. Like, they sign into PayPal and pull accounts. They sign into eBay and pull reports to get me like the total. But you don't want them to be too cheap. I think I was paying like $175 before he upped it. But you have to think, I have multiple platforms I sell on. I have affiliate income coming in. I have stuff throwing at me from like 10 different directions. And so mine is not like a regular reseller's would be. So I wouldn't expect to hopefully not pay that much.
I would also add too, stay away from like H&R Block and these big corporations. Find a mom and pop accountant that you can actually talk to, reach out to, because it goes a long way. For me, my business, what I did was I paid for like an hour of his time so he can let me know what to set up for my books. I do my own bookkeeping, and then I pay him like $300 a year to just do my taxes. So there's different ways to do it. As I grow, I will get a bookkeeper down the line and stuff like that. But, there's different ways. So like I always say, don't step over $100 bills to pick up pennies. You might save $50 or $100 on your accounting, but you may get a bad accountant because you're trying to cut corners. So like Kat said, you get what you pay for.
Yeah. So just be careful. It's really hard to find an accountant familiar with reselling too. I've kind of trained mine throughout the years. I've had him for 4 years now. And he's learned. Yeah. See, Serenity says she was her accountant's first reseller.
Yeah. It's a
so
good question.
They don't necessarily have to know it, but they should be somewhat familiar. Like my accountant had somebody that did Amazon. So he had kind of, dealt with online selling a little bit, but not to the extent that I do. But we kind of learn together, and you might have to help them learn to understand the business if you can't find somebody who does know it.
Kat, would you recommend that they take the, what's that course that you were,
Mark stopped offering it except in January this year. He only offers it in January now. He closed it down.
So the only thing I would say is this is a time of year that you want to start interviewing. You can actually interview accountants. You can talk to multiple accountants, but do not wait till like January, February to try to get an accountant for your business, because
you're not going to find one.
You're not going to find an accountant. So in like this time of year is the perfect time to start looking for an accountant, because you can actually meet with them. They have time. You can ask questions. Once you ask the questions, you can find out if that accountant is good for you. But make sure you do your research ahead of time. Just certain things to ask. So I would go online, look about what different types of accounting styles for reselling, and then that way you can have at least a basic understanding of what question to ask.
Yeah. So Josephina said, am I familiar with Incurly? I found a sterling bracelet. Any advice on pricing? I'll tell you guys, I typically do not do any help with pricing because that defeats the purpose of teaching you how to do it. I will say that I see them on eBay. So just telling me Navajo cuff tells me nothing, because somebody could have $100 Navajo cuff and they could have the same artist, a $1,500 Navajo cuff. You really need to look and try and find one similar. There are a few, there are not a lot on eBay. So I would look for one that is similar to yours. And honestly, if it was me, I would be going to WorthPoint, because I would want to see more of a history on something like that. Like, I have a Navajo cuff listed at almost $2,000 right now. But again, the same artist might have one for $200. It really depends on like the weight of the sterling. I would say you need to say weight when you're doing heavy cuffs. People want to know the weight, and typically they want to know the stone. So if it's turquoise, if you know the type of turquoise, that helps. Luckily, most of my auctions I buy my higher end Navajo from will identify what type of turquoise. Like mine is dry creek bed turquoise, and so I'm able to put that in there. Wind Dancer wants to know, have any of us sold items to replacements.ltd?
No, I haven't. I've often looked at them for comps. They're usually a little higher, but that's because the way they operate. Just like Cherish is a little higher than Etsy or eBay. But no, I sell things myself.
Yeah. I never sold anything to them, but I have checked to see like how much they could give for your items. They don't give you that much. You're better off if you want the full max, just sell it yourself. Yeah, I never sold anything to them.
I have never sold anything to them. Kat, have you?
I have not. And I talked to somebody who actually, when I went to auction school, she used to work with them. They're going to pay you less than 50% of what you're going to see it on the website. Probably, I think, closer to 30%. And you will make a lot more money selling it yourself. Now, when I price, I typically will go about 10 to 20% below what replacements.com sells it for if it's in stock. If replacements.com doesn't have it in stock, I might be able to price it a little bit higher. So that is something that I do, but I do check it for prices as well, like Jeremy was saying. Mark is late. He's early. He's 6 minutes early. And then Miss Sohila also sent a super sticker. Thank you guys so much. Sohila, I'm grouping you with Mark so you get Rod. I hope that's okay. Here you go.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time.
What are you doing, silly Willy? What just happened? I had Rod. Dalton likes Rod's super chat. All right. Miss Beth wants to know, does it make you sell a lot more because you do videos?
Great question.
Well, I'm going to say yes for me. And I know that's going to be true for some of my friends because I also have videos where I gear it towards that option. Even my Thrift with me videos that are static, I say, hey, if you see something you want to catch before it goes to my booth or eBay or whatnot, or my YouTube sale every Monday, here's how you do it. I have a separate email. And then also, I'm kind of like the founder of the Thrifty Rich Club. And there's certain things that my hardcore, like subscribers, viewer friends, we kind of all like. There's some things that we like, that we kind of started trends on. But yeah, it does because I gear it that way. I curate my channel to help me with that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think it does help me because I learn a lot from the viewers, especially if I make a mistake in the video. They'll tell me what it is, and I go back and get it, possibly. Then doing the live sales and whatnot, that helps. You want to sell more. And then just getting the numbers from like eBay. When you have a big sale, that helps you want to sell more. But yeah.
So I would say for me, I think any YouTuber will be lying if they say that having a channel doesn't impact our sales some way or some shape or form. But for me, it's very minimal, to be honest with you. I do these picking videos on my Pick and Punching channel. I put out 2 videos a week, but when I put them up there, I'm really bad about this. I usually don't have a lot of those items up in my store yet, so which I need to get better at doing. And then on my Flipping and Punching channel, I'm just talking about what I sell. So do I have people that watch my videos go and buy stuff? Yes, but it's very few and far between. I show you guys every single thing I sell on every single platform on my Flipping and Punching channel, and I will say if someone leaves me a note, I can tell it's a viewer. But I have a couple people that are repeat buyers on there, but overall, I would say 95 or probably 98% of my sales are not from viewers. Now, I will say it did help me bring traffic to my whatnots, but I'm averaging 20, 30, 40 people my whatnot. So it's still, not a lot of people when I have almost 20,000, followers on YouTube. So at the end of the day, yes, it does help a little bit, but for me, not tremendously what people think. And I'll tell you another way I can tell it is I'm part of the eBay partner program, which when you click on my eBay store link, it's an affiliate link. So I do get a small percentage. If you buy something from my store or if go to someone else's store and use my link and buy something, I make it like 1%, like something like tiny. It's like cents on the dollar. So I can see sometimes I go through there, how many items I sold that month when people click on my link, and that link's only in my YouTube videos and stuff. And I might get like a couple sales here, but sometimes those sales aren't even in my store. People went to my store, looked at items, and then went on someone else's store and bought it. So I would say it's very few and far between, not as much as what people think we do.
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to mirror what Rod said and say mine is not a lot either. I have built a community of resellers, which means I don't have a community of collectors. I do have some collectors in there, but it's not a big group of collectors. So mine are probably about 5% or less as far as eBay. And on my thrifting videos on my second channel, I normally will sell like 1 to 2 items out of about 20, so I get some, but I agree with Rod that it has driven traffic to my whatnot. But I will tell you, most of my whatnot sales, I'm break even or making a very, very small profit, which is why I haven't been on there a lot lately. So whatnot's not a big source of actual profit. It's probably, I would say, like 20% of what eBay profit is, if that.
It's a fast way to move product. It
is a fast way. And so like I could pull out the higher dollar and try to move the lower dollar stuff. So it's at a benefit for me, but it's also at a benefit for the audience. And I know like LaDonna is saying she gets a lot of direct sales. It really depends on the audience that you build up. Kevin is a perfect example of, he's a storyteller and people love him and like him. And he sells merchandise like it's nobody's business. And I've sold like 10 shirts in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I can't. I'm more like professional, like to the point, not saying Kevin's not professional.
Yeah.
But like Kevin, different personalities are different. Like I think Yvon does good with merch too. Me, I can't sell merch to save life.
But Kat, you're more of an educator. I would say the best way to describe you, you're an educator. Where Kevin does educate, but Kevin's more of an entertainer.
He's telling stories too while he's educating.
So even though you guys both are very good at what you do. It's a completely different audience where you're trying to teach other resellers on how to sell. You're not teaching buyers how to buy things, where Kevin's finding these nostalgic items from the 70s, from the 80s, tells a story behind it, and then puts it up for cheap in the store where people were going to buy those because they just like the item or had the item. So there's a story behind it. So I think you hit the nail on the head with that. It comes down to your audience. And since you're more of an educational, which your channel is amazing for that. That's why you have the show every Tuesday night, because you have hundreds of people here and they thousands of watching the replays, because you did a very good job at educating them and helping sellers get to the next level, not so much have them buy from you.
Right. And I've sold a few, but it comes down to personality and like type of connection. Like I think I have my people, but I don't think my people necessarily want a nurse flipper shirt where, Kevin was a history I agree. That's where I'm saying we're all different. So different channels are going to sell different amounts to people, and some are going to sell a lot and some don't. Rod's saying he doesn't. I don't either. And Yvon and Jeremy said they are. So it really, really depends on you, your personality, and the community that you built, if that makes sense.
Not to mention Kevin owns Bonanza, and that's the only way anyone has ever sold a Bonanza from Kevin telling us about Bonanza. So if you guys didn't know, Kevin owns Bonanza.
I heard that the other day. I was watching Track the Cash. I heard that.
Yeah, it's a true story.
Like I said, I purposely, that's kind of how I create my channel and my videos, most of my videos. I do teaching videos as well, but that was part of my goal, is to build a community. And so
I think it's our personality too, though. Like Yvonne's very chit chatty, where I'm like very, and I'm not saying this like bad or good. Like I'm very straight to the point, and I think that comes down to like people's different personalities, you know. And so people like Yvonne gets friend mail like nobody's business. Nobody sends me stuff. I mean, a few people. Dalton gets stuff now. People send Dalton stuff. But I think I've probably got 10 things over 5 years. That's it. And so that just comes down again to like personality. Like Yvonne and I have talked about it, and it's just the different personalities, you know. So some people, it could be like their main income, you know, because they're talking, they're more storytelling, more interactive, I guess. And they're going to sell more than like me being straight to the point and like educating is the only way I would say.
I'm not head of household either, right? I'm part-time. I'm not head of household. I don't have, you know, so you're head of household, right? Basically, you've got to stay on track, focus. You're building an empire. I'm part-time having fun and just getting ready to, you know, have some extra money when I slide into Social Security and keep me and my husband off the streets. Okay, you guys.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and that does definitely make a difference. Like this is like my only income. I don't have any other thing going on, like, except for what you guys see. So I have no secrets. no investments. I would love to say I did, but I don't. Miss Artemis says, I sold a bag, and when wrapping it, I noticed it had interior stains. I offered the buyer a partial refund. Does this give me a ding?
Not that I'm aware of. Not if you guys are in agreement and they don't escalate anything or open up anything, I think. No, that would. Oh, you mean just the act of like technically like giving someone a refund? I don't know. That doesn't give us a ding. No. I've done that, like on shipping or something.
Yeah, I don't think it should. I mean, unless they give you a negative feedback, but you already solved it by offering a partial refund, so I don't think nothing should happen.
Like the algorithm doesn't pick up on that, does it?
Right, yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So I would say the only thing you can potentially get you a ding is if this buyer be upset about it, you know. So before I would mail it out, I would actually contact the buyer, you know, and let them know, hey, would you still want this? I'll give you a partial discount if you still want it. But I mean, eBay is not going to give you a ding. You just don't want to get any negative feedback from the buyer. And I think you did the right thing, offer them a partial refund. But I would make sure I would get confirmation for them before I actually mail it out, because they may not want it because it's staying inside.
They're saying the buyer's fine with it.
Oh,
and I agree with that. And
Yeah.
I really think you guys should double check things before shipping them out. Like I was talking about it with everybody before we came live. We have a Harley windshield that is brand new, but I saw cracks on it, like around where they bolt it to the motorcycle. And so I ended up canceling it. We will hold it and say, hey, we noticed some cracks. We didn't disclose them in the listing, or whatever it might be. If it's a stain, we even do it if the color's really off. Like if we go pull it and it's like a 3-year-old picture and the color of the picture and the color that we're seeing are really different, we will message our buyers before shipping it out, because the last thing you want to do is just send it and then you have to deal with a refund when you could just save the money to that and you know, just cancel the transaction. And then when you relist it, make sure you notate it or take new pictures or whatever you need to do to do that. Look,
I have
Yvonne,
that problem.
look,
You know, I was saying when I buy
with
clothes
the
a lot,
colors, yeah,
depending on the lighting. Yeah, if you go to a thrift store, stuff like that, you buy something and then you don't see the stain, you bring it home and you're like, oh, there's a stain on it.
I hate that.
Bad
yeah.
lighting.
Thank you, Todd.
And I mean, people will appreciate that. And yeah, Todd said a $2 super chat for Yvonne. Like, guys, we're all different. Like, if we were all the same and had the same personality, like, that would be very boring, right? Like, and some people are attracted to one thing And some people are attracted to another. That's what makes the world go round, you know.
And at different times. People like me just as much as they like Kat. Different things at different times. It's all good.
Different
And
strokes,
different
different folks.
too.
Be
Yeah.
yourself. It's all good.
All right, we'll give you Yvonne's mermaid since you sent it for Yvonne. Here you go.
Oh, Todd and I go way back. Way back. OG. I see another one in the house.
It's so
too.
funny to think of how long, like Yvonne's been around my channel for a very long time. We've been friends. Like Caroline, I just put Caroline's question up here. Caroline has been around my channel for years as well. So like when you're smaller, you know everybody that's commenting all the time. And I still, because I respond to all my comments, I still know the people that are like commenting every video. But it's so crazy to think how long it's been. And I don't know the answer to Caroline's question, so I'm hoping somebody else on the panel does. Is there a way to do a quantity discount on a certain item category? So for example, if they buy more than one postcard, they would get more postcards at 10% off.
I'll have to pass it, you guys. I keep a very tight eBay store. I never go over 500 items. I sell more eclectic, unique items. I don't even hardly ever have a variety listing. So let me pass that down.
Is that where you get more than one item and you offer a discount for each item after that?
Correct.
Yeah, I've only seen it on the same item though. I don't know if you can do it on other items in that category.
Or
here, Marsha's answering. Marsha says you can do it if you have store categories set up. It won't do it by eBay categories.
Like Kat's never seen it because she just uses eBay categories. Yeah, you can do it in there. You can set it up there. Another way, I think you can save your settings too for certain categories, if I'm not mistaken, and so that every item that you list will automatically do that. But
yeah, I don't know.
Is that when you're running like a sale, like a promotion?
Yeah, it would be like you do on the multiple
Category.
item, but it would be in the category.
you see a lot of DVD sellers do, booksellers do that.
Yeah. Marcella said she loves my glasses. I got 2 new pairs. I got this pair and a Ray-Ban pair. Marsha will drop the link if you guys like them. The frames were only like $72 from Overnight Glasses, and they come the next day. So I like them because you can order them and then they're here the next day.
Pretty color on you.
These are their brand too. These are their generic, like their Capri line, and they're all like $50 to $70 for the frames. They're really, really like nice cost. And I like these better than the Ray-Bans that cost a lot more. So, but they do have those too. I got both from them, but yeah. So thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. I don't know if anybody knows the answer to this one either, or maybe in the chat. How do you ship a 10-foot pole? 10 foot by 7 inches. That's only 4 pounds.
10 by 7. That's a pole. 7 round. You mean diameter? Okay, I don't know. Yeah, could I pass?
The only thing I could think of is like a fishing pole, but it wouldn't be 7 inches around.
I'm sure it could be done, but
would that have to be freight, or does that go by weight?
I think due to the size, it would probably have to be freight. I could be wrong on that. Mark, I know you're in the chat here. Let us know, what is the longest package you can ship to, like UPS? Because I'm curious on that. But yeah, I think just because of the length of it, I think you would have to go freight or some type of special shipping.
I feel like USPS is 24 inches.
Yeah, you can't ship it. You cannot ship that to UPS.
So 108 is the total for USPS.
Yeah.
So it definitely wouldn't. Yeah, U-Ship would be an option doing freight. I don't know how much this thing is worth. Gino, listen, in an 11-foot box.
what is it, by the way?
Nicely done, Gino. Nicely done.
Yes, tell us what this thing is.
We want to know.
May is back. Once a listing is uploaded via List Perfectly, what happens if you cancel LP? Will those listings get deleted on the other platforms? I've gotten asked this a lot since I put my video out. No, you will not lose. Nothing happens to your listings. They will still be wherever you put them. You will not lose them. And if you go back to LP, your listings will still be there. You just wouldn't have the advantage of the auto delister ending your items as they sell. Who are you laughing at, Yvon?
Todd. He's guessing what the poll is. Todd. Sorry.
Stripper pole. I mean, it might be. Hey, if they, I would sell one if it would sell. I'm not going to lie.
That makes sense for the dimensions.
To pass along the shipping discounts, it's under your account settings, and shipping is where I found it. And you can turn it off and on at any time. So if you go to my settings and shipping, it was there.
Just give her the disclaimer on that is, remember, you're paying taxes on all the money you do take in for.
You're losing a little bit by doing that. You definitely are.
Be careful.
All right. LTAC says, I'm a new part-time seller and have sold 42 items.
Congrats.
What big business item would you recommend purchasing first? eBay store, thermal printer, faster computer. What would your advice be? And I'm going to have a teaser plug when I answer this.
Okay. Okay. You've sold 42. I need more information. Like, I want to say eBay store, but that's only if you are dedicated and you're going to have so many listings, because there comes a point where the math makes sense and you kind of end up getting your store for free, so to speak. So I don't know. So I guess I'll say faster computer, no, because I use my phone and iPad. That's fastest. I guess from the three you put up there, and without more information, thermal printer.
Yeah, I would say since you're starting out, then I wouldn't spend too much money on like equipment, but you want a good phone and to get pictures and computer or whatever. I would say the thermal printer. I still don't have a thermal printer. Use a regular printer, but once you progress and grow, then you can get more stuff.
So I would say, just like what I said, you can list on your phone. You don't need a computer to do listing. You're starting out. I don't recommend having eBay store if you're under 250 items. Just wait till you hit the 250 before you get a store. Your store is going to be a minor purchase. It's also a tax write-off. But for functionality and for making you be more effective, more efficient, there's two things that are a must. You have to have a good scale, and have a scale that has the detached, like the little wire that hangs off the side that has the weight shows off the side, because if you have a big box, you put it on top of it. If you don't have that little piece that hangs off to the side, Kat, do you have one right by you? The quick show.
Yeah, Dalton, can you hand mommy the scale up there?
And then also a thermal printer. I will tell you, cutting out labels and taping labels on a box, I did it for years and years and years. And around Christmas time, if you're shipping 50 items, do you know how much time I wasted at one point in time in my reselling career by cutting out 60 or 50, 60 labels and taping those to boxes, when I can literally just rip off, smack it on top of a box, and good to go. So this is what I'm referring to right there. That is a must-have. So a good scale and a thermal printer are the two things that you absolutely need for your business, without a doubt.
So I would say thermal printer, and here's my teaser. I had a company reach out to me, and they sent me a sample of a thermal printer. I got it yesterday, and I'm going to test it tomorrow. And I will give it away next week, guys. I will give away the thermal printer. I will also tell you who it is. I'm not going to tell you right now. And they are going to give me a coupon code to give you guys a discount if you don't win it. And it is very, very reasonably priced. But I have to test it and make sure it's up to my standards before I tell you who it is and if I like it. But it's on my front porch right now. And it's pink. Ladies, if you don't want pink, though, they will send you another color. I wanted pink because I like pink. But I will test it tomorrow, and I will tell you guys about it next week, and I will give you a discount code if I like it. I got to make sure I like it first. All right. I'm going to go on a field trip for this. I'm going to share my screen. Eileen is asking, how can you tell there's a repeat buyer? So I pulled up my orders, if you guys can see them here. And right here, it says repeat buyer. Do you see it? Right there. Based on last 2 years of data. So you might not have, like, I had to look through like 15 items to find a repeat buyer. So you might not have people, like if you sell everything like I do, you might not have repeat buyers. The funny thing about that one is I actually listed a towel that was that brand and they bought it. And then I listed the bag right after they purchased the towel and they bought the bag too. That's why they were a repeat buyer. And those are the only 2 items I had from that brand in my store. So if you're not seeing it, like when I get offers, it tells me if they're a repeat buyer too. But you might not have any. Pink is for Pepto-Bismol. I like Pepto-Bismol. That makes me think of the commercial. I'm not going to sing it. Hala said, I have a heavy Asian tiger that's marble. I can't even move to see how much it weighs. So what would you advise her to do to sell it?
You can't even move to see how much it weighs. Okay, it's just been in your house. Okay, then Facebook Marketplace, a local sale, perhaps, if you trust or have someone to watch your back, because that's a thing. So I'm going to say a local sale. Facebook Marketplace is a valid choice.
Is he frozen?
Frozen?
I
He'll be
think
back.
so.
I'll take
He
it.
always comes back, y'all. He always comes right back.
So, let's see, Asian to marble. I would say offer up Facebook Marketplace. Try to find the best ways to sell that locally so you don't have to ship it. Would you like to jump in this one here? You were frozen there for a second.
Yeah, I would say Facebook. You could do eBay local pickup if you want. Just make sure you're safe and you don't want any creepy people coming up to your door knowing your address. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think local sale, because if you can't move it to see how much it weighs, you can't move it to ship it. So you could do U-ship, but they're going to make you guess the weight. Why was I banned from Facebook? I was banned from Facebook because my 74-year-old mother does not pay attention to warnings, and she was listing license plates, which are not allowed to be sold on Facebook. They are allowed on Mercari, Poshmark, and eBay. They are not allowed on Facebook. And she kept getting warnings that they were not allowed. She ignored them, and Facebook permanently banned me. So I am not allowed on Facebook. People send me listings to look at them, like I can't see it. If I click on Marketplace, it says you are not allowed. So yeah. Wind Dancer says, I bought a Ground Advantage label from Pirate Ship early. It didn't get mailed today. Will it be okay? It'll either be okay or Pirate Ship will charge your card for the difference. I've had them. I've been like a little off on weight and they just charge my card.
I don't use Pirate Ship. I use ShipStation attached to PayPal added their own internal shipping ShipStation. I think about a year or two ago. I use that for my live sales and things like that. So, and you get the discount as well. Jeremy?
Sorry, I was reading.
Oh,
that.
I took the question down.
Oh,
That's not the right question.
Not answer anything.
I was confusing him.
The ShipStation, and then eBay. Yeah.
Wait, what question were you on right now? Now you got me confused.
I took it up. Well, I took it off. They just asked if they shipped on Pirate Ship Friday. They printed the label, but they mailed it today.
Gotcha. You got that one answered already.
All right. Has anyone had an international sale through the global shipping program and it got broken by the time it arrived at eBay? I'm curious how eBay handles this.
No, I have not had that happen on its way to Kentucky or wherever, eBay's whatever disbursement center, or to its final destination. So I'll pass that on.
Yeah, I never had it arrive broken at the eBay center. I have had something break international shipping. And eBay covers that, and I don't think I lost any money from that either. This was about like 2 years ago, though. So Yeah.
Shouldn't have.
So from my understanding, eBay's not are they opening the packages? They're not opening the packages, are they? Because
They do. They open
do?
them.
All of them?
I think so.
Because I thought they're putting on shipping containers to ship in bulk when they do ship them out. That's how they get the discount.
I thought that they opened them, but I'm not. I'm not 100%.
I don't think anybody knows.
Because I feel like that, you would have a risk of stuff getting stolen and other things. I never had an issue. So I would say, like, once it arrives at a shipping station, I've never had an issue where eBay has said anything. I've had a couple items that broke internationally, but eBay took care of it every single time. So I think once it arrives there, you're fine. All they have to do is scan it. If it's scanned delivered, you are good to go. It doesn't matter what happens. Once it's in their possession.
Serenity says they open them too.
Do they? All of them, though?
Where did you get that information? How can we verify that? That just seems
I
like
don't
such a
know.
waste of time.
I've never had one break before it got to eBay though, so I don't know how they would handle that.
Maybe they check to see if it's wrapped properly and make sure
I'm
nothing
curious.
illegal.
Mary wants to know, if you're bidding on an auction, how do you set your limit of what to pay?
Oh, you're bidding on an auction. How do you set the limit on what to pay? You mean when you do a max bid thing?
Yeah, like how do you decide, like, say the item's worth $100? I would use like $100 as an example, because I think that would be a good one to like do a clear cut. Like if it was worth $100, what would you do?
That's done in my head, and it stays there until about 5 minutes before closing. Listen, well, I don't want to take up too much time, but there's a very, very good reason why I don't do that. Okay, I don't know if it was a glitch or what. I'll talk about it real quick. I don't know if this is a glitch or what, and if it's been fixed. But as a seller on the back end, I noticed that the price said one thing with so many bids, but yet another number said that I had 4 bids on an item, but I couldn't see exactly what they were. So that told me somebody has already placed a max bid. See what I'm saying? And so if I was devious, I'm like, well, crap. If I was devious, I could go have somebody shill bid and bid that up, because it looks like somebody's willing to go higher. Now, I don't know if that was
on eBay, on high bid. They're saying like on high bid for resale, if you're bidding on high bid.
Okay, high bid. I don't know. I don't know how high bid works. I've never used it. So just let me get off my rant, not be crunchy. Go on.
We're going to get to our shirt. The question is in queue. I do have it in queue, guys.
I think it depends on what the item is. If it's something popular, then I would bid a little bit higher. Yeah, I guess, and I would bid the least, and then the last minute I would bid higher.
Yeah,
but it all depends on the item.
So for me, I like to do what they call auction sniping. I wait to like the last 10, 20 seconds to place my bid on an auction if I'm doing an online auction.
He drives me crazy with soft close.
No. So
do you do that on soft close, Rod?
I don't know. What's soft close?
So soft close, listen, people do this, and I want to Brad laughed at me because I'm like, I want to reach through the screen. So with soft close, if anybody bids within the last 2 minutes, it extends.
It automatically adds,
so people will wait till there's 30 seconds. They bid, it extends it 2 minutes. Then they wait again till there's 30 seconds, and then they do it again. And 20 minutes later, it finally ends. It drives me crazy.
I don't do it on soft close. I'll place my bid. Someone bids me, I just quick bid. Or maybe I'll wait 10, 15 seconds, because sometimes people do get caught up in the moment. So I can see people waiting, especially if it's a high-end dollar item. You may want to wait just because people get caught up in the moment. But for me, I always have an item before I place any bid in an auction, I already have a maximum amount I'm going to spend in my mind. That includes shipping.
I think that's what they're asking is what percent or, how.
It just comes down to the item, but also what I factor in though too is you also got to factor in the shipping cost, the taxes, and then the buyer premium, especially if you're in an auction. So if you're at an auction house, you're going to be paying a percentage on top of what you win it. So if I win it for $100, that auction house may have a 20% buyer premium. I'm going to pay $120 plus shipping plus taxes on there. So a lot of times people do miss the buyer premium on those, but I just, I have my set limit in my mind, what I'm willing to pay for the item. And when I'm in a live in-person auction is the worst, because sometimes I'll get pissed off at the person bidding me up, and I'll just go and just try to, I'll get him. Like, I have an arch nemesis at my local auction house. The guy owns a toy store here in the Tampa Bay area. And every time you guys watch my auction videos, this one guy outbids me every single time. So it was always me, him going back and forth bidding up. But you have to be disciplined. That's the biggest thing. You just got to be disciplined when it comes to it.
Yeah. So for me, on lower dollar items, I'm not going to pay more than 10%. So if it's $100 item, I'm probably not going to pay more than $10 unless it's a really fast sell through. And if it's a really fast sell through item that I think is going to sell in under a month, I will pay up to like 30%. So I will increase it depending on how fast I think it will sell. Now, like LaDonna's saying, she puts her max bid in and walks away. I like to wait until there's just under 2 minutes. I don't want to extend it because that drives me nuts. Yeah. But I'm hoping that they're not watching it. So a lot of times I'll put a place bid. I call it a place bid. I'll bid one time. I'm probably automatically outbid. I know that. But then I'll look at my bids, and then if I'm able, I will wait. Now I have, and I don't know if I have it in one of these. Yes, sir.
There's someone at the door.
What do you mean there's someone at the door?
It's Mr. Spider. There's a very big spider.
Don't scare mommy like that. So I'm going to cover the name because I really do not want you guys to know the name of this. Look at here. So I put like what it's worth. These are all auction lots. I do my homework. So that's how many pieces of sterling are in it, or the value of what it is. And you see me marking it out because it went above what I wanted to bid. So I will mark it out when it goes over it. And this is from the last one, but I actually started a new one of those today. I spent over 4 hours researching. I'll spend another 4. We live in the country. There's spiders everywhere. It's Mr. Spider, and now he has a cat. I'm not more scared about a spider than a stranger, as long as he's outside of the door.
Golden Auction House does a weird thing where you have to place your bid. So let's say the auction saves a week-long auction. The auctions end at the regular bidding ends at like 10 o'clock on say on a Tuesday night. You have to place a bid before 10 o'clock to be put in the extended bidding after. So meaning that the only way you can bid on an auction is that you have to place a bid before the regular bidding ends to be part of the extended bidding. So that means that only people that have placed a bid on the auction.
After if it's a webcast or something?
Yeah. So the
online only are not that way, but
not all of them.
The webcasts, yeah, because then you couldn't get in it. And I will so here's another thing that kind of plays into that. So like that auction I just showed you, I'm going to do my research. I like to write. As you see, I like to write stuff down.
Old school.
I am old school when it comes to that. I do use high bids feature of notes, but proxy bid doesn't have that feature, unfortunately. So I can't do that. So I'm not going to remember on 100 lots what each one's worth. And then I'll have to go look it up again. And then I'm doubling my time. But let's say I've only won 2 things. I might then be willing to pay a little more on stuff because I'm already making a 2.5-hour drive. So that factors into it too, because I know I have to now go pick up. So I want to make the going to pick things up worth the drive and the gas. So my percent might then increase as well, because you don't want to win only one thing and you have to drive 2 hours, So then I might be willing to pay a little bit more, or I might look at stuff that's a little less valuable that I might not have bid on before. Yeah, HiBid has a note feature that is absolutely amazing. I always wonder if the auctions can see it. I need to ask Troy. Now that Troy's doing the HiBid auctions, I need to ask Troy if they can see our notes. I always wonder that. If they can see what I put. Okay, so since Todd said old geezers rule, we're gonna, speaking of old geezers, we're gonna give him Kevin. Here you go.
All right, Kat.
I give you guys a little bit of warning.
I found out about the international shipping. I've been sitting here just searching for the entire time.
Researching it.
Yeah, so it says that on their Q&A portion of the website, it says our items repackaged at the hub. Not usually. Sellers should package their items ready to go to the final destination. It says if they do choose to inspect your item to make sure they will open it, they will repackage it the same way it was. So they do not repackage your items.
Oh,
But they have to undo all of that, and you have to hope that they put that back how it was.
Correct.
That's why it's on them then, thank goodness.
So that's why once
Right.
the item arrives, once it's checked in there, then you're fine. So it doesn't matter if your item arrives broken or anything. It seems like
It's on
once they
them. Yeah.
it's on them.
Jake
But they
is
could
in the
inspect it,
house. Yeah. So they open them. Jake is in the house and he rejoined membership. He said he didn't know when it dropped. So thank you for coming back. Welcome back. Here's your turtle. You have to dance to that.
If you guys don't follow J Ride Flips, guys, give him a follow. Great content on YouTube for reselling.
For
Been on
sure.
here a couple
Yes.
times.
He has. All right. Grandma's house wants to know, what are our thoughts? If you make a sale on eBay, would it be okay to put a card in it with my Etsy store in the package?
I know some people think that's, I don't think that's against the rules. Now you can't put it in your eBay homepage, your profile, or in your listings, but thank you cards and stuff like that, I don't think that's against the rules, you guys. I know that sometimes I do have some cards that say, YouTube, Instagram, blah, 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 my Thrifty Rich cards. Sometimes I'll put them in there, sometimes I don't. Only because of me being, a content creator as well. And I do my Thrift With Me videos. Sometimes I choose not to because I'm like, okay, I don't really want her. Like, I just sold a pair of $250 jeans, R13s. And I'm like, I really don't want her backtracking because they sold so quickly and seeing on my social media that I paid $30 for those. So, I pick and choose, but I don't think it's against the rules. At that point, I might get corrected here in a minute.
I don't think eBay would be okay with that if they found out.
I agree.
I don't think they're going to find out, though, so I don't see anything wrong with it.
I don't know how they would find out.
Well,
Right.
if a
I
buyer
get
would
things all the time
contact
from
eBay.
big companies that
Yeah,
have,
if the buyer contacts
Yeah, if you have a buyer gets mad because your package was damaged or you did a poor job with it, and maybe they get upset and contact eBay, it's one of those things for me is why risk it? Like you're literally picking up pennies. You're $700 bills to pick up pennies at that point. You might get one or two sales to your Etsy store, but then you might cost your store thousands of dollars if you do get reported to eBay. So to me, it wouldn't be worth the risk. I know eBay doesn't allow you to promote anything outside of eBay through Messenger, through their sites. So I'm assuming that they would frown upon you putting stuff in your packages to promote other platforms that would take away business from their platform.
but all the big companies do it, you guys. All of them. You get coupons and to their website. All the
Amazon's not shipping me packages with coupons to eBay. Amazon's, like if I get,
I've seen Amazon sellers put in their direct website though.
No, I mean,
I
buy
get that.
something, like I bought something from Home Depot, Home Depot, and like they have eBay accounts, those kind of stores. And when you get something from them, it's got all their other. Maybe they're exempt because they're already well-known big companies. I don't know, big box stores that eBay attracted to compete. Maybe they're exempt. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if I have these cards that I used to put in. I don't think. I thought I had some. I don't see them though.
Yeah, I know.
I used to put them with my social media.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do it. And they never have any issues with it, but
yeah, I wouldn't really like Etsy fees are typically more than eBay. They were when I was on there before. We're gonna we're going to start selling on there again. There's another spoiler. I'm changing all kinds of stuff, guys. So I would not, but I think like the only thing I think is that if they got something and got mad, like Rod said, like they could turn you in, you know, that would be the only thing. But the chances of that happening are probably less. Yeah. I'm going to put this up because we're running out of time. So Eileen wants Yvon to explain what her shirt means.
All right. I do have shirts on my, on my YouTube channel merchandise shelf. And this is one of them. I've got a little bit of a word fetish. And, when you watch so many, YouTubes and stuff, we all kind of use the same terminology. And also in my own private social life, just to have fun, I like to put a little twist on words. And so when you're getting a little, some people say salty, I kind of changed it to crunchy. I've been doing that for a few years. I think I said it once on when Kat was gone, Kat and Rod were gone, and I hosted, I said the word crunchy, and your chat about died over it. So I was like, oh, they get it. And so, now it's being kind of passed around and used by other channels and stuff. So I'm like, I'm making t-shirts. Me. I am kind of arrogant about that. When you come up with fresh stuff, it's important, and you get a little ticked off when other people run with it and don't give you credit. That's just how I am. So
funny. That's what I say now is crunchy.
You can. You like we just did it, like you're on my channel every Monday. Like we're good friends. That's okay, and people know where it came from when you say it. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Mostly Brooches wants to know if those of us making videos, are we doing consignments? So she does not do videos, but she has tons of vintage jewelry. So I don't know. Hopefully you're still in the chat. I don't know if you're wanting to like find someone to do them on consignment for you. We had consignment chats on the channel, just as a side note, a few weeks ago, and all they do is consignment. So that's somebody you could check out. But we'll go around and answer if those of us on the panel are doing consignment.
I actually did try to catch her in the chat. I liked that. I wanted to know, I don't do consignment, no, but I would definitely be interested, and I bet I'm not going to be the only one, on some pictures of a bulk. If you just give me a price for all of it, show me pictures. I would definitely be interested in having that conversation with you. If you're still here, please.
Yeah, I never done consignment before, but it does seem interesting. That'd be something I would look into too.
Something just fell off my desk. I don't know what fell. For me, I've tried consignment in the past. It just wasn't a good fit for my business. So if I do consignment now, it would have to be worth a couple $100 for me to do it. We had this conversation probably a couple weeks ago. There are people out there that do nothing but consignment. It's just not a good fit for my business, what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, and for me to do consignment, each individual item would need to be over $500 for it to be worth my time, because I have enough inventory. So we would have to stop with our own inventory to make time to do consignment. That's not part of ours. And I typically, when people write me this, I will tell them that if you have high dollar items, I would be more than happy to consign them where it's worth it for me as well as for you. But on a $20 item, I'm probably only going to give you a $5 payout because I have to pay people to list them. I have to store them. I have to ship them. It's not worth it for me to do a $20 item. So I'm like Yvon. I'm not interested in the brooches. Contact Yvon. I have enough inventory right now. And for me, I was buying a ton because I was doing a lot on Whatnot, but I'm like Yvon, where instead of consigning, I would say to you, send me pictures. I might be interested in buying them, but I'm not interested in consigning them. And I think most people that make videos, with the exception of consignment chats, ladies, most of us do not do consignment. I don't think that's part of most of our businesses. This one was also, I think this one's important. It was asked later on, but I think it's really important. And hopefully Donna's still here. She says she's new to the chat. She's thinking of reselling but watching videos about eBay scammers scares me. I think this is really important for those of you that are new to this. So she wants to know, are scammers more the exception than the rule?
Well, since 2002, I don't have as many sales as Kat, but 2002 consistent, I haven't had any scammers. So I think it's more the exception. And if you are watching some of the videos and reading about it in some of the groups, well, then make sure that you read like the conclude, like, okay, let's take Kevin, Commonwealth Picker. He'll shout out a scammer if he knows about it, whatever's circulating, but he'll tell you the solution and what to watch out for. So it's really, don't let that stop you. I think it's more so on higher dollar items, things like phones and games. I just think that, and higher end items.
Yeah, I haven't had any scammers. I thought I did. Remember the socks cat?
I told him it's not a scammer.
It was my mistake. But no scammers. So I don't know. You just have to be careful.
So I would say I've been selling on eBay since 1999, and I can count on one hand how many times I probably got scammed off eBay. And that's even during like the Wild West times where eBay was just a cluster. As Kat will tell you, it was just completely wild back then. But don't be scared. I mean, if you do get scammed, it's going to cost you doing business. Like that's what it just like you're going to have items break in mail. You're going to have items get stolen. You're going to have, these things happen. It's a cost of doing business. A lot of retail stores have like a 10 or 15% margin for, theft at their store and scammers and things. Unfortunately, it's part of our business, but at the end of the day, it's going to be few and far between. So if you focus on the negative things, it's going to just scare yourself out from getting all the positive stuff from eBay and all the sales. We talk about eBay, and a lot of YouTubers make videos on eBay about all the bad things, but at the end of the day, like me and Kat were one of the biggest cheerleaders for eBay, and what we do is changed our life, and it can change yours. So I would say screw the scammers. If you run into one, you run into one. It's part of the game. You lose $50, you lose $100. Who cares? At the end of the day, think of it the long-term picture about how much it can change your life. A lot of people do it part-time. We are able to quit our jobs, live our dream, and do this full-time. So just do it.
So the reason why you see all the eBay scammer stuff is because more people want to see negative stuff. Okay. As a YouTuber, and I don't do this very often, but the few times that I've had issues, those videos go viral. When I get kicked off of a platform, and I've been kicked off 3 of them, when I get kicked off them, those videos are viewed because people want to see the problems, and so it's the same thing with reviews, right, guys? Like, if you have a good time at a restaurant, you're not thinking about leaving a review. If you're pissed off and they screwed up,
yep,
the first thing you're doing is getting on to leave a review. So you're going to see a lot more negative reviews because when people are pissed, they're going to leave a review. When they're happy, they just go on about their way,
It seems louder.
Right, it is. And that's what people like drama. Okay, on TV, on YouTube, that's what they like. So if there's any little drama, that's what people like. I have been telling people, though, because a lot of people that started using List Perfectly have been going over. Do you see Lucifer? Look at him, that cat. I hope there's nothing breakable up there. Here he goes. So we're going to photograph the cat, apparently. So if you are on Poshmark, if they try to get you to eat any platform, if they try to get you to contact them off of that platform, it is a scam. Plain and simple. And on Poshmark, at least he got down on his own. On Poshmark, at least they, in my experience, only do it on expensive items. It'll be like $200 and $300. And one of the people that started actually emailed them, and they tried to get them to send them $200 to verify. So guys, if anybody on any platform tells you to contact outside of the platform, do not do it. All right, last question. I am not an iPhone user. Hopefully one of the other 3 panelists are. Marjorie wants to know, using an iPhone, is there an easy way to upload a video to the desktop for an eBay listing photo?
I normally don't do it that way. I just upload it from my iPhone or iPad. And so I don't know if this is the easiest way, but if I have to, like I made a thumbnail today and I needed to get it on the computer, I use the cloud. Or send it to myself in Messenger and then grab it. But might be something easier, especially if you're talking bulk.
So they mean uploading a video through your phone.
Yeah, so they're asking what's the fastest way to upload to your desktop. Do you have any suggestions for them? Do you have an iPhone?
I do, but I never uploaded a video to eBay.
So if you have a MacBook or if you have Mac products, you can just airdrop it to yourself. So I actually, when I do a lot of my videos, I do stuff on my phone and on my GoPro sometimes. Well, if I ever film anything on my phone, I automatically airdrop it directly to my computer. So it's literally 2 clicks and you can do it. If you don't have one, you can plug your phone into your computer and you can literally manually transfer the information directly over to it.
This is how I do it with my Galaxy. I use my charging cord to download it to the computer. That's how I switch my videos too. There's probably an easier way, but I'm being old fashioned.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on, Kat.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about this one comment on here.
I saw it. I know.
Did you? So for people that don't know, back in the day, you would buy something off eBay, and before you had to mail your money to them, sometimes I would have packages show up to my house. People would just mail it. So that's how trusting people were back in the day. And I would contact the buyer, I'm like, hey, I didn't pay for this. Why did I even got here? Like, oh, I ship it. I never have an issue. So like that was a legit thing back in the day.
Yes.
Remember that, Kat? It's weird.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. I'm going to make everybody big. We got to most of the questions. If we didn't, feel free to reach out to any of us on Instagram and ask us directly. We're happy to answer for you. I'm going to make Yvon and Jeremy big and let them tell you what they've got coming up. And then Rod and myself will. So here is Yvon.
Hi. Thanks, you guys. It was another great time over here with Rod and Kat. Always have a good time. And with you guys in the chat, thank you. If you don't know me, I hope you'll give me a chance. I hope you'll check me out and see if you would like to subscribe. I do live sales on my YouTube every Monday. Jeremy and his twin brother, Michael, are usually there every first Monday. I do some in between one-offs when I have fun. I do some panel shows. I do a booth talk for those of you that are interested in booths. I sell on multiple platforms. I've been doing this since about 1986, before the internet, starting with flea markets. So I do have a lot of knowledge. Mostly I have fun. If you want to know what it's like being part-time, because it is a little bit different when you're part-time and you do it yourself. So I can kind of help you with that kind of mindset. But thank you. I had a great time, you guys.
Perfect. Here's Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you for having me too. I love coming on here. Last time I was supposed to be on here, I was sick. But anywho, coming up is I'm doing a live sale with Yvon on Monday. What time were we? I forget the time for that. But
4 o'clock Mountain, 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, then I have a video coming out tomorrow, so everybody follow me. Yeah.
Rod, what's going on?
So I took this week off from Whatnot because of the holiday, but I will be back on Whatnot next week. So come check out. I'm going to be doing some Disney pin shows, some vintage Disney items. I'm dropping new videos on my flipping and punching channel on Thursday, my picking punching channel tomorrow. So definitely check those out. And I have a brand new sports card channel. If you guys are interested in sports cards or learning about sports cards, follow my journey getting back in the sports card world is picking and punching sports cards. Go check it out.
And next week I'm excited. We're gonna have Dagny, Flying Pig Thrifts, and Leroy, Blood Sweat Sell. Both of them have been around the channel for a long time, so super excited about that. I have been off of Whatnot for almost 2 weeks now. I haven't been buying stuff for it, but I have a whole room full of stuff. So I too think I am going to get back to it next week after the holiday. You guys have a safe 4th of July. I think what I'll do is put a schedule out for Whatnot so that you guys will know when I'll be on, because a lot of people said they weren't getting notifications. I also will have videos out tomorrow on both my channels, I believe, on this one and Cat's Treasure Hunting. So watch those. Thank you, Yvon. Jeremy, thank you for coming last minute. Again, guys, Becky Park had something come up, but we will reschedule her for soon. If you guys were hoping to see, it's been over 2 years since she's been on. So I promise I will get her back on. And Rod, thank you for keep coming. They said, Dalton, have a great summer. You want to tell?
Bye.
Okay, bye. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.